I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of GMS. Shalom to the hopeful elect, preaching this word in truth and sincerity. To you ribs, to your sisters out there, learning in silence and stay in the order. We are in a very interesting year. A lot of stuff obviously has happened. You know, we're getting ready to close out this year in about 2 months according to the Babylonian calendar. And here we have Biden pushing closer to the Russian borders, you know, poking the bear, as they say. If you've seen, I saw this show, and it's called Vice, and it talks about the conditions of the troops in Russia. Vice is owned by, I believe it's HBO. You can watch it on YouTube. Look up Vice, Russian military or troops, something like that. It came out, I think, this month. And so they were talking about how exhausted the Russian military is. Exhausted. They have recruited old people. People don't even want to fight no more. They go in AWOL. AWOL is when, you know, you're told to do something by the government and you just disappear. You know, people are taking trains, they're leaving. So Putin, you know, he's getting his pride hurt. You know, he's getting ready to make a move, you know, because his pride is hurt. You know, he could push the button anytime. Now we have Biden speaking about, you know, that Putin's pushing him towards Armageddon, whatever. You know, that's the Lord doing it. Ezekiel 37 says that the Lord will put the hooks in the mouths of Gog and Magog, right, to force them to go to war with Babylon, with the whore, and destroy her, right? But not until the elect is sealed, right? So let's read a little bit of it. This is Newsbreak, an app I use that collects news clippings from around the world and makes it easier for me to narrow down on what's going on in world and current and local events, right? So it says here, I scroll down to this piece. I got another piece after this. It says, it's when I start at strategic significance. U.S. President Joe Biden said on October the 6th that Putin had brought the world closer to Armageddon, right? They put that in, quotations, right? Because that word Armageddon, it's in the scriptures, and it means the place of the Lord's judgment. I believe it. I think it says it on the in the Greek. I don't got it pulled up, Salakia. Right? It says closer to Armageddon, right? Which, you know, Babylon will not be part of that. You know, the Megiddo, because they're gonna be wiped out on this side, right? It says that at any time since the Cuban Missile Crisis. Now, if you're not familiar with the Cuban Missile Crisis, you know, the Russians had sent missiles deployed at Cuba, and the U.S. did a barricade with a bunch of ships around Cuba and would not allow any transports of food, and, you know, basically starving the people out. They were starving the people out to a point where they say, you know, I don't want no part of this. And that's how dirty Babylon is, right? You know, ran by Esau. Head of it is Amalek, right? They don't care. They don't care about the old, the young, right? This is the fierce nation from afar who will not regard the old or the young. Deuteronomy 28. With a fierce countenance, right? These people do not care, man. You know, I used to watch back in 2006 or 7. I used to watch videos of troops in I think it was Iraq, and they will film themselves just acting like demons. You know, they'll have a camera on them, listening to like this heavy metal shit, shooting at houses, just, you know, doing whatever they want, man. You know, sword and war is in their heart, man, and that's all they do, bro. If you see these videos, these people are like entranced. They love this shit, man. And so it's nothing for them to surround Cuba, you know, one of the tribes of Israel, and basically starve them out. They don't care. That's what happened in the Cuban Missile Crisis. You know, now Russia has ties in South America. You know, U.S. is over there. There's a lot going on down there, man. But besides the point, let's get back to this. Let's get back to this paragraph here. It says that Putin had brought the world closer to Armageddon than at any time since the Cuban Missile Crisis. Though Biden later said he did not think that Putin would use a tactical nuclear weapon, Putin has not mentioned using a tactical nuclear weapon, but has said he suspects Ukraine could detonate a dirty bomb, a claim Ukraine and the West say it's false. Now, a dirty bomb could be anything. It could be, you know, they put some type of phosphorus or some type of biological weapon, you know, like a disease. So that those are easy to just say, hey, you know, these people just detonated this, we're just gonna nuke them. Anybody could do that. You know, Russia themselves could detonate a dirty bomb and then just use it as an excuse. It says here, the U.S. B-61 nuclear bomb was first tested in Nevada shortly after the Cuban Missile Crisis. Under Barack Obama, U.S. president from 2009 to 2017, the development of new version of the bomb, the B-6112, was approved. Russia's Grushko said that Moscow would also have to take account of the Lockheed Martin F-35, which would drop such a bomb. NATO, he said, had already strengthened the nuclear part of its military planning. NATO has already made decisions to strengthen the nuclear components in the alliance military plan, Grushko said. Russia's ambassador to Washington, Antonov, Salakia for that, said on Saturday on Telegram that the new B-61 bombs had a strategic significance as Russia's tactical nuclear weapons were in storage, yet the U.S. bombs will be just a short flight from Russia's borders. And you know, we've seen Russia's new bombs, right? The Satan II, amongst other ones. I'll get them in a minute. Let's see. Says Pentagon says no sign Putin is planning to use nukes after Biden's Armageddon comments. All right, we're gonna scroll down here. It says U.S. officials told Politico that nothing has changed on the nuclear front in the past 24 hours. On Thursday, Pentagon Press Secretary Brig General Patrick Ryder told reporters that the department does not have any information that would cause it to change its nuclear posture.
And we've seen nothing that would make us change our strategic deterrent posture. So I think, you know, look, we take these threats seriously, as we must, and we have since the beginning of this war, because it was very early on when Vladimir Putin was using bellicose nuclear rhetoric. So we have been taking it seriously for quite some time. Again, nothing that would cause us to change our strategic deterrent posture at this time.
All right, it says here in quotations, first time since the Cuban Missile Crisis, we have a direct threat of the use of a nuclear weapon if in fact things continue down the path they're going, Biden says. I don't think there's any such thing as the ability to easily use a tactical nuclear weapon and not end up with Armageddon. Right? More quotations. I'm trying to figure out what is Putin's off-ramp. Right? An off-ramp meaning escape route. Says Biden said Thursday night during the event. Where does he find a way out? Where does he find himself in a position that he does not only lose face, but lose significant power within Russia? See, the U.S. is trying to overthrow Russia at this point, man. They're trying to neutralize them and get them out the way, man. But Russia's like, nah, you're not. You know, there's a I forgot the cartoon's name, but I guess they want. I don't know if it was Elmer Fudd, but they wanted to take his gun, and he's like, over my dead body or whatever. That's like a saying Esau says when you try to take his guns. That's exactly what Putin's gonna do. You know, he's going to use his power, man. You see this guy, he's a psychopath, man. They got pictures of him riding a bear. You know, Russia's also known as the bear. It's just crazy. He's just they painted him to be another Hitler, man. That's what I'm saying. And it to the Western world, it's working, right? Because they easily influence, right? I'm in the service type of work, and I go to different houses, and you know, people talk to me and stuff like that, you know. But I use wisdom, obviously, and you could just tell by how they speak, how they're talking about Putin as if he was Hitler. As if, you know, the U.S. has not done worse. Right, back to the paragraph. It says here, Brizo noted that the U.S. has always underscored the seriousness of Putin's threat. Biden previously admonished Putin for rattling the nuclear saber during a speech at the UN General Assembly. And it says, the kind of irresponsible rhetoric we have seen is no way for the leader of a nuclear-armed state to speak, Brizo said, noting that the president had made clear that any use of nuclear weapons on any scale would be disastrous for the world and would entail severe consequences. A nuclear war cannot be won and should never be fought, he said, adding that DoD will continue to monitor the situation closely. Right. So, with that, right, watch this. Wait, that wasn't it. So, give me 1 second. What was that? Here, there's a Satan too.
Had conducted a test launch of its Sarmat intercontinental ballistic missile, a new addition to its nuclear arsenal, which President Vladimir Putin said would make Moscow's enemies stop and think. Russia released footage of what it says shows the test launch of the new missile. The Sarmat has been under development for years, and its test launch is not a surprise for the West, but it comes at a moment of extreme global tension over the war in Ukraine.
Успешным пуском межконтинентальной баллистической ракеты «Сармат».
The new complex has the highest tactical and technical characteristics and can penetrate all modern anti-missile defenses. It has no analogs in the world and will not have any for a long time to come.
The missile test came as Ukrainian forces were making their last stand in the besieged city of Mariupol after a Russian ultimatum to surrender or die expired on Wednesday. Once a prosperous port of 400,000 people, and now a devastated wasteland, Russia was hitting the city's last main Ukrainian stronghold, the Azovstal steel plant, with bunker buster bombs, Kiev said. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said about 1,000 civilians remained trapped in the plant. In a video posted online Wednesday, Ukrainian Commander Serhiy Volnya, still fighting in Mariupol, urged the international community to help evacuate wounded Ukrainian fighters and their families.
This is our appeal to the world. It may be our last. We may have only a few days or hours left. The enemy units are dozens of times larger than ours. They have dominance in the air, in artillery, in ground troops, in equipment, and in tanks.
U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken warned of a grim aftermath once the fighting ends.
What the world witnessed just a couple of weeks ago, when the receding Russian tide from Bucha revealed what was left in its wake in terms of death, destruction, atrocities. We can only anticipate that this tide also at some point recedes from Mariupol, we're going to see far worse.
A small convoy of buses carried some civilians out of Mariupol Wednesday, but Ukrainian officials say the number of people evacuated was far fewer than planned.
One of the main things I wanted to come and say and confirm is that allegations have been made, inspections are on the way. And this is basically what we need to do. We have to undertake this work at these two facilities that were mentioned over the weekend as places where allegedly work to divert nuclear material for the fabrication of a radiological device would be taking place. So this is what we are going to be doing. I needed to have an invitation from Ukraine. This was secured, so we are going to go there to establish the situation. One of the places we had visited in September, the research and development facility near Kiev. We had visited with good result. So we are going to revisit it, in this case with a different kind of work, because normally our inspections are looking for nuclear material. So we are going to be performing a different kind of work to determine whether the fuel there has been reprocessed in some way to extract this.
How long do you think you will need to reach a conclusion? Weeks, months?
Days.
Days.
Very fast.
Russian tanks crashed across Ukraine's borders on February 24th, 2020.
So this is Revelation chapter 7. It says, "And after these things I saw 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth, holding the 4 winds of the earth, that the wind should not blow on the earth, nor on the sea, nor on any tree," right? Because there's still some prophecies that need to be fulfilled before the end of this place. And we're getting closer and closer as we see. The war drums are drumming right now. And we still need the sea hip to come out. Right? So it says don't be troubled, man, when you see these things, because it's still not there yet. We're not there yet. It says, "And I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal of the living power," right? "And he cried with a loud voice to the 4 angels to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea," right? This is Yahweh Shai, saying, "Hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of our power in their foreheads," right? So this is what we're talking about. We're at that stage right now, man. The four winds are being held right now. You know, everybody's on high alert, high tension, but you know, the word hasn't been out yet. You know, and these wacky tacky Christians have no clue of what, no prophecy or nothing. You know, because they're not being taught anything, man. The spirit of Yahushua is the spirit of prophecy, man, and these churches don't have it. They're void of understanding. So these wacky tacky Christians are going crazy, like, oh man, you know, we could die, this and that. You know, man, it's frustrating, man, when you come into this thing and like you realize that, you know, what you came out of as far as the Christian church, and then you just, you know, you can never go back, man. It's just like you can never try to logically understand where they're coming from anymore. There is no going back. It's crazy. Their mind's been seared, man. But anyways, this is Jeremiah 51, verse 1. Thus said Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, behold, I will raise up against Babylon and against them that dwell in the midst of them that rise up against me, a destroying wind. All right, that's that and that destroying wind is them, you know, the missiles, man, like the Satan II we just saw. Cannot be detected, man. The arrow shall not miss. Verse 2. And I will send unto Babylon fanners that shall fan her and shall empty her land. Right? What do fans do? Right? A fan produces air. So with fire, what gets fire going is air. So in order to have more fire, you put more air to it. Right? So that's basically the concept, man. The Lord's gonna utterly burn this place, man. And it's gonna feed it with fire and fire and fire. And it's just the smoke is you're gonna see the smoke from the other end of the earth. Right? It says, and will send up Babylon, will send unto Babylon fanners that shall fan her and shall empty her land. For in the day of the trouble they shall be against her round about. Against him that bendeth, let the archer bend his bow, and against him that lifted himself up in his brigandine, and spare ye not her young men, destroying ye utterly all her host. Right? Spare not the young man. You know, it's basically what they did throughout the earth, man. They did not regard the young or the old, man. So that recompense is coming right back on their head. Right? Because when Yahushua comes, the ones that pierced him, he will visit them again. And these people, the young that's being killed, could have been those people back in the days killing young. You know, we don't know. It's the Lord's judgment, man. He does what he wants with his movie. Verse 4. Thus the slain shall fall in the land of the Chaldeans, right? Which is here, Babylon. Right? Esau, Edom, Amalek, all of them. And they that are thrust through in her streets. And with that, man, I'm going to say, you know, Kahala, Yahweh, Hashem, Yahushua, and Shalom on to the next.